यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय प्रहलाद निसिंह जय प्रहलाद निसिंह प्रहलाद निसिंह जय प्रहलाद निसिंह गौर हरि जय गौर हरि गौर हरि जय गौर हरि जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So today's class is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, entitled The Signs of God, Chapter 10, Prahlad, the best amongst exalted devotees. Text number 7. Yadi dasyasi me kaman varams tvam varadha rishabha कामानाम रिधि असमरोहम भवतस तु वृणे वरम यदि दास्यसि मे कामन यदि दास्यसि मे कामन यदि दास्यसि मे कामन वरं त्वं वरधा ऋषभा वरं त्वं वरधा ऋषभा वरं त्वं वरधा ऋषभा कामनां हृदि असंरोहम् कामनां हृदि असंरोहम् भवतस्तु वृणे वरम् भवतस्तु वृणे वरम् भवतस्तु वृणे वरम् यदि दास्यसि मे कामन वरं त्वं वरधा ऋषभा Kamanam hridaya samroham bhavatastu vrinevaram. Yad Matajis. Yadi, if, das yasi, want to give, me, kaman, anything desirable, varan, as your benediction, tvam, you, varada rishabha, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can give any benediction, kamanam, of all desires for material happiness, ridhi, within the core of my heart, asamroham, no growth, bhavataha, from you, tu, then, vrine, I pray for, varam, such a benediction. The translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada reads, O my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your Lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. Please repeat. O my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your Lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. The purport by His Divine Grace. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us how to pray for benedictions from the Lord. He said, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim, kavitam va jagad isha kamaya, mama janmani janmani ishvare, bhavatad bhakti rahaituki tvai. O my Lord, I do not want from you any amount of wealth, nor many followers, nor a beautiful wife. For these are all material desires. But if I have to ask you for any benediction, I pray that in whatever forms of life I may take birth, under any circumstances, I will not be bereft of your transcendental devotional service. Devotees are always on the positive platform, in contrast to the Mayavadis, who want to make everything impersonal or void. One cannot remain void, Sunyavadi. Rather, one must possess something. Therefore, the devotee on the positive side wants to possess something. And this possession is very nicely described by Prahlad Maharaj, who says, if I must take some benediction from you, I pray that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. The desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not at all material. The translation once again, O my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your Lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Bancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna to everyone. Very happy to be back in Ujjain after a break of about 5 years. But still, this is my 5th trip to Ujjain. So thank you for hosting us and inviting and treating us so nicely. When I say us, I'm referring to my family as well. My good wife, Dharampatni Jayashri Devidasi is here as well. And we're very blessed to be in your midst. Srila Prabhupada appears to be on a crusade. Every time we hear, Prabhupada seems to be, at every opportunity, putting a knife into the Mayavadi philosophy. And sometimes we may even get criticized for this, that isn't this being overdone a little? That throughout most of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada has something to say against this Mayavad and other deviant philosophies. When we look at the Pranam Mantra of Srila Prabhupada, which was composed by he himself, it reveals his entire mission, his life service, and what he set out to achieve. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharine. So on the instruction and following the orders of Lord Chaitanya, and first paying obeisances to his spiritual master, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Sunyavadi. Nirvishesha means impersonalism, and Sunyavadi is voidism. Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. That his mission is to wipe out, neutralize and annihilate this kind of philosophies which are anti-bhakti. It's completely on the extreme poles. Bhakti on one side and the other side is this Mayavad philosophy. And it's interesting that in this particular verse, how Srila Prabhupada brings it in. And sometimes we may question is, where's the connection? How is this related? Here, this chapter is in particular establishing the exalted status of Prahlad Maharaj. And we get rare insights and glimpses into how a pure devotee functions, how they think. Otherwise, we'll be clueless. So here it says that, my Lord, if you want to give me any benediction, then kindly remove from within the core of my heart any material desire. Why? Material desires are anathema to bhakti. The first covering, the first differentiation between bhakti and the material realm is material desire. So until and unless we do not get rid of all material desires, we will not be able to enter the platform of bhakti, of pure devotional service. So here, Prabhupada is establishing that the consequence of material desires is Mayavad. So putting to you another way, to that degree that we have material desires, to that extent we will be tainted by Mayavad. I know sometimes we think, especially amongst the devotee community, we understand this. We're not Mayavadis. We know we are personalists. We are followers of Srila Prabhupada. But chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, text 10, Vidaraga Bhaya Rog. This is how it starts, the shlok starts. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is establishing in the very first line that those who have material desires will have grave difficulties in understanding the personal conception of God. So see the link between material desires and how we get removed from the pure platform of devotional service. I know His Grace Ujjain Prabhu is arriving today, right? His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami last night was telling me he's anticipating the arrival of his dear friend. And I was remembering that in one class Ujjain Prabhu mentioned that once in Japan, Srila Prabhupada was sharing a platform with the Mayavad, and he began speaking. And after a few minutes, Prabhupada spontaneously started a kirtan in the midst of him speaking. Appears very disrespectful, right? But later on, Gurujan Prabhu says that he asked Srila Prabhupada, what happened? And Prabhupada said that initially I was trying to tolerate, but then I could take it no longer. So this shows that how painful this is to a devotee. This Mayavad is so painful. We try to understand it in a simple analogy, and I'll try to give you an analogy. Let's say a few friends are together and they're speaking amongst each other, with each other. And here you, perchance, happen to arrive. And you are a friend, you know them as well. But they ignore you. They continue speaking with each other, but they totally ignore you. How do you feel? Won't you feel a little insulted? They didn't even acknowledge your presence, didn't even greet you, didn't say anything, and just continued on their merry way, but abandoned you. So this gives you some idea of what happens with the Mayavadis as well as with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, here comes a devotee of the Lord. Here you walk into this. And then you see these friends conversing with each other, and you see one person being totally abandoned. And you say, no, this is not right. You shouldn't be like this. Then you start to remind them, no, here's your good friend. Or you begin greeting him, and you begin introducing and starting conversation to include him in the whole process. So this is what Mayavadis are doing. They are precluding the Lord. They're separating the Lord from everything else. So that's why Prabhupada says this is a form of atheism as well. Once my spiritual master, His Holiness Srila Bhakti Charuswami Maharaj, was giving a class at Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Mandir in Chatsworth. Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Ji ki jai, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram ki, Sri Jagdanand Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Sri Prahlad Nishingadev ki, Sri Sri Nitai Gaurahari ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanandi. So, Srila Bhakti Charuswami Maharaj was asking, what do you do when you come to the temple? You come and bow down, what do you do? What do you say? And what do you ask for? Did you ever think about it? Or do we just simply mechanically come and just put our head down, pick our head up and walk? Mumble something. Or to get up and go. Is that what we do? Or is that we should be doing? And so there were different responses from the devotee community who were present there. But Maharaj was not completely satisfied with what they had to say. And then he said that if you don't know what to desire, then rather let your spiritual master desire on your behalf. Which is always a safe option. And if you're not yet initiated, then ask Srila Prabhupada to desire for you. Prabhupada, you know best. You tell me what's best for me and you decide what's best for me. I'm just a puppet in your hands. And here we are getting the glimpse of how the pure devotees think. No material desires. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, please my Lord, if there's anything you want to give me, remove from within the core of my heart, not just remove from me, not just remove from my heart, remove from within the core, from the depths, the deepest recesses, remove this most painful of all things, the worst kind of poison that they could be. And then Prabhupada, right in the purport, is telling us, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us actually how to pray. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamya mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavata bhakti rahaitu kitvaye. These prayers are for exalted devotees, those who have overcome their material desires and are already completely situated even beyond the Suddha Tattva Sattva platform, beyond the mode of pure good. They are completely on the transcendental plane. But for most of us, although we know we're given a rare glimpse, an insight into how the pure devotee thinks and functions, for most of us, we will not be able to do this. So then what? This is where Bhagavad Gita has come in. Bhagavad Gita is for devotees and personalities with material desires. This is, the entire Bhagavad Gita is meant not for pure devotees, but for all those who are not pure devotees. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections. In total, there are 700 shlokas, and the 3 sections of 6 chapters each. In the first 6 chapters, it's all about you or I and how one can achieve perfection. The first chapter is entitled Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kuruksetra. But something happens as a consequence of Arjuna observing these armies. And that is, he begins to lament. Lamentation sets in. So this is a consequence of material desires. The end result is always lamentation. Padam padam hi vipadam natesham. Every way danger is lurking in this material world. Every step, every moment, every split second, anything could happen. And then chapter 2, which is contents of the Gita summarized, deals with the identity, reveals who you are. We are reminded who we are. And in chapter 3, which is called Karma Yoga, one's work, one's vocation is, again, we're reminded of what we should be doing. In chapter 3, Krishna says, work for me. Chapter 4 is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Is that right? No, chapter 4 is just transcendental knowledge. So in chapter 4, Krishna is revealing what skills are necessary in order to do your job. In chapter 2, who you are, and Prabhupada said this is the A of the ABC in spiritual life. The B of the ABC is what is your job, what you are meant to do. Work for Krishna. And the C in spiritual life is that what skill set you need in order to do your job. Every job requires a particular skill. If you're a carpenter, you need that. If you're a doctor, if you're an engineer, if you're a lawyer, you need a particular skill in order to do your job. So similarly, if you're going to work for Krishna, you need a skill set. But we already come equipped with that skill set, just that we have forgotten it. So this entire first section of 6 chapters is, if we simply remember why we placed in this area of lamentation, is because of amnesia. Amnesia is a medical term, means that you have forgotten, loss of memory. Now you know from experience that somebody who was involved in a motor car accident, or had cancer of the brain, or who had a blood clot, or who got, assaulted badly, they suffer from amnesia. You've seen it, right? But we suffer from amnesia because of the first contamination of material desire. And each subsequent contamination enhances our amnesia. We become more and more dull-headed, and become more and more removed from Krishna consciousness or the spiritual world. Then that was 4. Chapter 5 in Bhagavad Gita says, just like chapter 3, karma yoga, but action in Krishna consciousness. And here in the last verse, you see the result of knowing who you are, doing your job with the skills that you have. And the result is, from lamentation we move to peace. Jatma mam shanti rachyate. Chapter 6 is called Dhyana Yoga. And in chapter 6, we are taught how to think. Everybody thinks and everybody thinks they know how to think. But actually, unless you're taught how to think, you will not think correctly. So this is the revelation in chapter 6. So the first 6 chapters in Bhagavad Gita is all about you and how to achieve perfection. And the analogy given is that of somebody suffering from amnesia. So we have to be reminded, we have to be told who we are. And once we are reminded, then our consciousness begins to awaken. The second 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita deals exclusively with Krishna. And we can see that in chapter 7, which is called Knowledge of the Absolute. Prabhupada says in the very first 2 lines of Srimad Bhagavatam that wherever you see the word absolute, then you should know for certain that it refers to Krishna and Krishna's energies. So knowledge of the absolute, Krishna, chapter 7. Chapter 8 is attaining the supreme, Krishna. Chapter 9 is the most confidential knowledge, Krishna. Chapter 10 is chapter 10, opulence of the absolute. Again, Krishna. Chapter 11 is the universal form, Krishna. And chapter 12 is devotional service, Krishna, referring to Krishna. So here, the analogy is that of a job interview. In chapter 3, we heard that you have to work for Krishna. Now you have to go for the interview. And when you attend the interview, Krishna himself is conducting the interview. This is the analogy to understand the second 6 chapters. And Krishna, first in chapter 7, where he gives knowledge of the absolute, he's telling you about himself. So when you go to a job, you want to know about the company. You want to know what's this all about. Oh, I love to work for Google. I want to work for Microsoft. I want to work for some big name. Accenture, something like that. But this is now, Krishna is revealing knowledge of the absolute. Then in chapter 8, attaining the supreme, Krishna now says that if you work for me, I will give you some insurance, some perks. The package is unique. Remember, every company tries to woo when they headhunt, they try to woo their employee. They try to say, okay, what's your benefits? What special benefits will give you? So Krishna says in chapter 8 that I give you a benefit that no one else can give you. And that is a life insurance policy, a real life insurance policy. In this material world, they lie to us. They bluff us. They give you a life policy, but you only get it on death. You have to die to get the life policy. So what a misnomer that is. That's an oxymoron of sorts. How can you have a life policy, but it only pays out on death? They don't tell you it's a death policy. They tell you it's a life policy. That's what they should be saying. It's a death policy. But Krishna gives you the life policy. That no more birth. Eternal life. So that's the benefit in chapter 8. The perk. In chapter 9, most confidential knowledge, Krishna gives his password. Imagine you have Bill Gates comes to you and say, right, work for me, but you will not only get some special perks, I'll give you my personal credit card with the password. Isn't that amazing? So Krishna is that kind of employer that gives you his credit card and his password. The password to his most private and treasured possessions. And the password is Bhakti, 6 letters. We type it. Whenever we go into our emails and we go into our bank accounts and ATM machines, we put in our passwords. But Krishna's password is Bhakti. B-H-A-K-T-I. Bhakti. Imagine that. What an amazing employer Krishna is. Unlimited. There's no limit on this. Goloka Premadhan Harinam Shankirtan. Unlimited. Ever expanding ocean of nectar. We just somehow or other got to get access to it. Somehow. And in chapter 10, Krishna is revealing his opulences. And herein it very interestingly is the Chaturushloki Bhagavad Gita. The 4 seed verses of Bhagavad Gita are 10.8, 10.9, 10.10 and 10.11. And what's more significant is that in this entire 4 verses, 3.5 verses are referring to devotees only. So this whole chapter is the opulence of the Absolute. And here it's the Vibhutis, Krishna's opulences. But the seed verses are revealing its essence of whole Bhagavad Gita. So now you know what's Krishna's real opulence. Krishna's real opulence are his bhaktas, his devotees. And therefore, devotees are very dear to Krishna. So, any intelligent person will reason that because devotees are dear to Krishna, if somehow or the other I could endear myself to somebody who's dear to Krishna, then Krishna would be merciful to me. So, that's chapter 10. Chapter 11 is the universal form. So Krishna in this interview process is telling us, listen, this is not a small company you're working for. This company has got branches all over. Not, how we like to say, yes, I work for a company who's got offices in New York, London, Sydney, Australia, and Paris. Oh, I work some big shot company. But Krishna is saying, my offices are everywhere, not everywhere on this planet, but everywhere throughout the universe. So you'll be working for some mega unique corporation. This is Krishna. So it means that you're very special. If you get this job, got it made. And in chapter 12, it's devotional service. Devotional service in this interview process will be akin to KPI, Key Performance Indicators. Those of you who are working in corporates will know this. KPI is Key Performance Indicator. That means how you are measured, how your performance is measured. They give you a manual, they'll give you an induction manual when you start a job, and this will tell you, okay. And Krishna says in chapter 12, what will make you dear to me? what will make you very dear to me, and what will make you very, very dear to me. So here's how you measure your performance. What you do to become very dear to Krishna. Okay, so that's simple, right? So that's 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, is the interview process, and Krishna is revealing himself. In the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, it establishes the connection between the first 6 and the second 6. In the first 6, it's about you and how you can achieve perfection. In the second 6, it's about Krishna. So where's the link now? The link between you and Krishna comes in the third 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And here, the analogy is of a prison house. Yes, you went through this interview process, you got the job. But unfortunately, you're locked up in prison. You did the interview, did your Skype interview, but you're sitting in prison. Sorry, Prabhu. You meant to start work today, but you're in prison, locked up. How are you going to start? So Krishna in chapter 13, the last 6 is 13 to 18, right? So in chapter 13, which is called Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. In chapter 13, Krishna tells you that, I'll be with you throughout your entire existence, throughout eternal time. I will not abandon you. So he's the Paramatma. That feature, he says, with you. But he's a witness. He lets you do what you want to do until you turn to him. It's only once we turn our face away from material nature and turn towards Krishna that the Paramatma becomes active. Otherwise, it's simply a silent witness. In chapter 14 is the 3 modes of material nature. This is akin to the bars of the prison house. Every prison got bars that keep you within. And here are the tools with which to dismantle the bars of this prison in chapter 14. Chapter 15 is called the Yoga of the Supreme Person. And here the most important verse in this chapter is text 15:15. Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedya. Krishna is saying that I am known by the Vedas. The revelation of Krishna comes from the Vedas. By all the Vedas I am to be known. And not only am I the knower of the Vedas, that I know this information, but I am also the compiler. I am the author, I am the source, I am the origin. So what better authority than Krishna to know what the escape plan is out of this prison? So chapter 15 gives you the map of the entire material nature and how to get out. We read so many stories and watch so many movies of how prisoners break out of prison and how they figure out, these are the air conditioning ducts and these are the service ducts and this is that, and they figure it out, okay, this is how we'll break out in the plan. So Krishna is giving you the blueprint in chapter 15. Chapter 16 is called the divine and demoniac natures. So in this prison house, you got all kinds of people. These prisoners are made of a huge array of types. So you have prisoners who are very bad. And if you join them, big trouble. And in this prison house, you also got other kinds of prisoners who are reforming. They're getting better. They're rehabilitating. And if you join them, you may learn something. And they may help you. And you may become better. And you yourself may become rehabilitated. You could learn. So this is the divine and demoniac natures. It's the inmates. In chapter 17 is the divisions of faith. And this division of faith reveals the key with which to get out of the prison. The last 4 verses reveals a mantra. Om Tat Sat. That's the last 4 verses, tells you this mantra. And that means understanding that Krishna is everything. Krishna is it all. Everything, Krishna is the proprietor, Krishna is the controller, and Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So if we just simply remember that, Om Tat Sat, in connection with this understanding, that's the key. Prabhupada says right at the beginning of the 18th chapter, perfection of renunciation. Conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. He says right at the beginning of this 18th chapter that Bhagavad Gita is complete in 17 chapters. So what is the need for the 18th chapter? Bhagavad Gita is already complete. So the 18th chapter in this analogy is for people like me, who firstly, we have Krishna as a Paramatma in the heart, but we're not taking advantage. We don't know how to reciprocate with him. And then we have the bars, knowing the bars are there and the tools with which to dismantle the bars. But, I got 2 left hands and I don't know how to operate the machinery in which to take off the bars. And then there's the escape plan that Krishna reveals in chapter 15. But, I am intellectually challenged. So I don't know a map, whether to read it this way or that way. I don't know which is north or south. So I can't figure out the map. And then in chapter 16, it is the divine and demonic natures. But to me, everyone looks terrible. I can't discern who is good and who is bad. To me, everyone is bad news. And in chapter 17, the key, where the key is revealed. But in this prison house is so dark, my eyesight is gone, I'm suffering from Parkinson's disease, the disease where the body shakes like this. So I take the key and I can't find the slot. Decrepit, old. So for these kind of poor, unfortunate people, chapter 18 is spoken. And here chapter 18 says, okay, if you can't do all these things, simply sarva dharman parityaja. Forget everything. Abandon all these things. And just surrender unto me. Simply surrender unto me. And by surrendering unto me, I will absolve you of all the pap that you have committed for zillions of lifetimes. And the pap is a result of material desires. Now we come back to what Sri Prahlad is saying. But he's functioning now not on this platform, like I mentioned. Bhagavad Gita is not for pure devotees. He is saying, please, he wants to be guarded. He doesn't want to fall down. He doesn't want to risk it. Because the moment there is even some semblance, a tincture, just a tiny fraction of a fraction of material desire, that's it. That's it. Your entire life gets spoiled. Because from one, it goes to the next, to the next, to the next. Because the repercussions of karma is such that it goes in a very complex, multi-lifetime consequence. It's not just a one-event result. So here he is being extremely guarded, extremely careful about. Bhagavad Gita is simply speaking about the point where one manmana bhava bhadbhakto, where we want to become a devotee. Please become a devotee of the Lord. Not that you are already a devotee. Please become a devotee. Please engage in devotional service. Please start practicing, try, make the effort, make the attempt. It's like this. Surrender to Krishna is like the gate of the palace, or let's say the gate of the temple. If you surrender to Krishna, you've just entered the gate. But when you enter the mandir itself and you're in front of the beautiful deities, And this is like the joy and what you feel. This will be devotional service. So, surrendering to Krishna is not yet devotional service. It's the gate to the palace, to the treasure house. One has to still engage in devotional service thereafter. Srila Prabhupada, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Madhya Leela, in the conversation where Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is asking Lord Chaitanya, Bhakti sadhana shrestha sunite hoila mana. That, my Lord, tell me that of all the different 9 processes of bhakti which have been revealed by Prahlad Maharaj, which is the best? And Lord Chaitanya replies, Prabhu upadesh kaile nama sankirtana. That of all these processes, the best is nama sankirtan. Every facet of our practice of Krishna consciousness, every aspect, every attempt, endeavor, every service that we do has as its goal Nama Sankirtan. All are subsidiary servants to this highest principle. So here, now we see that we are in this beautiful time where Srila Prabhupada has created the Christmas Book Marathon. The opportunity by which we can become really connected to the entire parampara and to receive his mercy and the mercy of all the acharyas who are completely focused on Gauravani. Prithivite achayati nagaradigram sarvatra prachar hoy bimaranam. Prabhupada is saying, nothing pleases him more than distributing his books. Sometimes we think that only when we perform like some intimate personal service to the spiritual master, then that is something extraordinary special. Right? We think like that. I used to think like that. Oh, I'll wash my Guru Maharaj's cloth. I'll massage his feet. Oh, what a wonderful service. Like that. But no. The most intimate instructions and the most personal service of the spiritual master are those that are given publicly. Remember this point. And here Srila Prabhupada is saying, if you want to please me, then do what? I didn't hear that. If you want to please me, what Prabhupada says? So every one of us, no matter what service you have as your regular service, you should be involved in book distribution. Because book distribution is for everyone. Book distribution is not just, you say, the devotees who are out in the street. Even the pujaris should be distributing book. Nobody should say, I do not have time. Nobody should say, no, my service is so, I'm fully engrossed in my service. My meditation is, I've got full absorption in the service. No. The purpose of your service is to distribute books. And the point of distributing books is Nama Sankirtan. Mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatat bhakti rahaitu kitai. Then the purport of these 2 lines will become our life's mission. So today my prayer is that may Lord Nityananda and may Lord Chaitanya accompany all of you onto the streets, give you their wonderful association as you distribute Srila Prabhupada's books during this Christmas marathon. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. If anybody has any comments, corrections or questions. Boliye. As my Guru Maharaj just said, it either means that you understood everything or you understood nothing. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pushyatha Desatarine. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.